Southeast Asia, a region where monsoon rains shape the rhythm of life and where cultures meet like tides. In the heart of it lies Malaysia, a country where the call to prayer echoes beside Chinese markets and the scent of Indian spices drift through tropical air. A place where diversity isn't just a social reality, but a living architecture. Today, we explore how this multicultural nation is quietly building an entirely new economic sphere, one shaped by Islamic finance, the expanding halal industry, and a forward-looking smart mobility ecosystem. When people speak of Malaysia, they tend to celebrate its cultural diversity. But diversity here is more than a cultural feature. It is a structural force that shapes the economy itself. In Malaysia, the coexistence of Malay, Chinese, and Indian communities creates a unique environment where ethical finance, global halal standards, and urban mobility innovation all emerge from the same social foundation. This is not simply a story of coexistence. It is the story of how diversity becomes an operating system for a nation's future. And today, we'll explore that system in depth with a special guest. Joining us is Muhammad Faris Rahman, an analyst specializing in Asian socio-economic systems.
Thank you. Malaysia fascinates me because its complexity is not chaos, it's engineered diversity, and the design behind it is remarkably coherent.
To understand Malaysia's economic model, we first need to understand its demographic structure.
Malaysia is primarily composed of Malays, about 70%, Chinese Malaysians, around 23%, and Indians, about 7%. This composition traces back to the colonial era, where different communities were assigned different economic roles. Those historical layers still shape business culture, education, and even residential patterns today.
And what's interesting is that this diversity doesn't lead to segmentation. It becomes parallel economic ecosystems that coexist.
Exactly. This very structure later becomes the foundation for Islamic finance and the halal industry.
Many nations consider diversity a source of tension, but Malaysia turns it into a source of economic creation.
I call this structured diversity. It's diversity that's intentionally managed through institutions, policies, and long-term planning. And that precision makes Malaysia unique.
Let's begin with the first layer, Islamic finance. Islamic finance operates under principles such as prohibition of interest, riba, avoidance of excessive uncertainty, hara, avoidance of speculative activities, maisiyah. These rules shape a framework that values risk sharing, transparency, and moral responsibility. It is a form of finance where ethics and economics are inseparable. Although the concept is rooted in the Middle East, Malaysia is now one of the world's leading centers for Islamic finance.
That's right. Malaysia is a global leader in sukuk, Islamic bonds. It plays a key role as a financial bridge linking Middle Eastern capital with Asian markets.
And because the system emphasizes transparency and fairness, it naturally aligns with modern ESG principles.
Exactly. Malaysia has turned ethics as economic value into a national-level financial strategy.
The second layer is the halal industry. Many still think halal only refers to food rules. But today, halal covers cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, tourism, logistics, even finance. It has become a comprehensive global standard for safety, cleanliness, traceability, and quality. Malaysia's JAKIM certification is considered one of the most trusted in the world.
It is strict, transparent, and science-driven. What's especially notable is Malaysia's pioneering work in halal logistics.
Logistics, not just the product, must be halal?
Exactly. Cold chain management, contamination prevention, factory processes, the entire supply chain is certified. This transformed halal from a religious requirement into a global quality benchmark.
And that's only possible in a society where multiple cultures negotiate trust every day. The third layer is smart mobility. In a multicultural society, fair and accessible mobility is a foundation for social inclusion. Because of this, Malaysia has invested heavily in public transportation and digital infrastructure.
For example, the massive expansion of the MRT network, autonomous vehicle trials in Cyberjaya grabs regional headquarters, integration of digital ID, payment, and transport systems. Few countries are advancing these initiatives simultaneously.
And mobility directly affects where people can live, which schools they can attend, and what opportunities they can access. It's economic mobility in the most literal sense. What's striking is that Islamic finance, the Halal economy, and smart mobility, they appear independent, but they are deeply interconnected.
Absolutely. Islamic finance provides ethical capital, the halal industry provides trust infrastructure, smart mobility provides access and inclusion. Together, they form a co-creation infrastructure rooted in Malaysia's multicultural foundation.
This is not merely economic policy, it's a way of designing society. Japan is entering a new phase. Aging demographics, greater migration, and increasing social fragmentation.
That's why Malaysia's approach matters. It shows how diversity can be institutionalized, trusted, and turned into economic value. These three ideas will become essential for Japan's future design.
Malaysia is not simply a multicultural nation. It is a country that transforms diversity into a social operating system, powering its finance, its industries, and its cities. It treats differences not as obstacles, but as seeds for innovation. Perhaps this is the most Asian and the most forward-looking model for the 21st century. Thank you for joining us. And until the next field, this has been NEOTERRAIN.